What's happening, everybody? It's your man Dame D NYDC. It's Monday night. You know what happens on Monday nights? We gets down, and tonight we're going to be, you know, talking about transforming neighborhoods together. And you know, the person that's joining me on the other mic tonight, man, is really inspiring, and it's really a breath of fresh air when you have this type of talk, because a lot of times we overlook and right now in our own communities, and with the way things are playing out under current circumstances and the certain administration, if you will, we really need to really dig in, to individuals and organizations and foundations that are doing this type of work. Now, I know you guys are probably tired of listening to me talking, and why am I teasing, Dame? Because I just want you to take a moment to think about it, how important community is. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring to the stage and to the other mic tonight, the fabulous Elisha Johnson. She's the community engagement specialist at Requity Foundation. Alicia, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm just blessed by the smile and the energy that I see. You're ready to engage and really talk about this. And when we talk about things like this, I always believe you always must start at the very beginning. And you tonight are that beginning point, Alicia. And please take a moment, kind of tell us who Alicia is as a person, where she's from, and what's some of your favorite hobbies that you like to do. Because I seen a couple of things that I was like, okay, that's pretty dope. But I'm gonna let you talk about it.
Yeah, so everybody calls me EJ. I grew up in the Easterwood community. I've actually lived in this community over 35 years. I am the community engagement specialist at Requity Foundation. Our mission is to break down the barriers between vocational education and workforce development. Um, I pride myself on finding different resources for the community, for our youth participants. And some of my hobbies include like socializing with friends. I've just recently picked up this gardening. Um, I enjoy it so much. Like I have my children as students now that want to participate in it. So it's fulfilling to take something from seed to soil and watch it grow and be able to ingest and thrive in under this new administration especially.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because that's really where I was going with it too. This new venture with your garden, it is a
Mhm.
lot like your work, if you will, because you do have to sit and basically till the soil, right in your own community. And I think, like I said in the very beginning, sometimes we overlook because I think we become disjointed, as a people, and I mean that black, white, blue, brown, whatever.
Yes.
We've become our own box. Everybody wants to be in their own box, and they don't
Mhm.
want to, share anymore and learn. And
That's
how difficult is it, one, for you to really stay engaged? Because I can only imagine how much energy that may really sap from you at times, just trying, the hurdles and things that you have to go through. Like, what keeps you full and going, through the
honestly,
tough times?
honestly, I would say my mom. She passed away
Mm.
2023. I actually
Oh,
live next door to the house I grew up in. And she was always big on community. She was a cafeteria manager for most of my childhood. I saw how
mm,
she took to children, and like if they didn't have, she made sure they had. And it just resonated with me. I felt a level of fullness, like we're here for a purpose. And
mm.
growing up, you don't always know exactly what it is, but once I joined Requity Foundation, I just felt like this was my perfect fit. I'm able to be my authentic self. I'm able to come up with innovative solutions that help community, our students, our elderly. So it's fulfilling. Like when I go to bed at night, I feel like, okay, I've accomplished something. Like, and I know if my
Yeah.
mom was still here, it would make her proud. So I think that's what keeps me going.
I love that. And you talk about your passion, your love from your mom, and the things that you watched her do really
Yes.
help build your level of commitment to the community. But can you, Alicia, EJ, take a moment to really go a little bit further and really describe, more of your core responsibilities, if you will, as the engagement specialist for the community at Requity, and how are there any specific ways that you see your work bridging that gap between
Yes.
workforce? Yeah, please. I that because I know that's a part. So talk about that.
Yes, so this is the first time I've actually been in a role where it's engaging community. So I had to figure out like what's a good way to like get the people's attention, build the trust. And I feel like being as though I've been in this community for so long and a lot of our senior residents remember me as a child, that's a little bit of an edge that I do have. But also speaking to the community and finding out exactly what is it that you need. If we could rub a genie's lap. Like, what would the wish be for you to see
Mm,
in the community? So it's just listening and paying attention. And Rome wasn't built in a day, so it's a
true.
matter of getting key stakeholders at the table. Setting
Mhm.
expressing the concerns, community meetings. And I started as community ambassador and then moved up to community engagement specialist. But I'm also like donor relations and
Wow.
partnerships and media, just any type of way. Whereas though like we can do it 10% better. Let me figure
Right.
it out. Let me do some research. Let me, so it's invigorating, honestly, just to be able to see where we were last year compared to where we are this year.
It makes me wonder because it sounds like you not only take on, but you're willing to wear a lot of different hats. And
Yes.
and Requity, if I heard you hear about the stakeholders and the things that you need, but if
Mhm.
anybody that's sitting here right now watching or listening to this on their whatever their favorite streaming platform is, what would be one or two things that you would want the community to hear and actively act on to help, Requity Foundation, to continue to help and serve the community?
I would say, it takes a village. Like
Mhm,
it's not a one man job. Uh it started grassroots, but it has
mhm.
the capabilities to expand citywide,
Wow.
statewide, global. If we have individuals that really just sit back and look, like these students could be out here doing wrong. They show up
True.
every day. They're
Mm,
rebuilding houses. The culinary
wow.
department is feeding the residents. The interactive media is documenting it all. The
Wow.
business students have came up with a business plan and are now doing print and press t-shirts like the one I have on now. So
Right.
it's
All
just
right.
watching the evolution because the news and the media always gives that negative stigma. But I
Okay.
feel like with the opportunity, these
Mhm.
students are doing the thing.
I
So
love
just
that.
just don't stereotype, don't assume, get into the community and just actually actualize the situation.
Mhm,
Sometimes
mhm.
all we need is an opportunity and watch
That's
it
right.
flourish.
Mm. Listen here, if any businesses, in the Maryland, Baltimore area, like if you're listening, this is your opportunity to really take the forefront and
That's
become
right.
involved in the community and partner with an organization like Requity Foundation. They're just from listening, is giving so much back. And these are young people who are our future, and it doesn't matter what their skin color is, what their
Right.
religion is. This is our future. This is what our country is been built on, and it's been successful, and we need this. So I really appreciate, at least you talking about that, because I think people need to hear it and really understand. Get behind it,
Hmm.
even if it's a dollar donation,
Right.
whatever you can give, and we'll get to that at towards the end. But it causes me though to also ask, because we talk about action, but then it has to be strategy, right? And I'm curious to know from you what strategies have you found, for you, EJ, to be the most effective, to engage with, our diverse community of people and really
Mm,
building trust. Cause I think that's the first
absolutely.
step, right? And then,
Yes.
really build that trust though, because you're dealing with the youth and
Yes.
to get them to understand,
Mm.
what values they have and what they can bring. So, like, what's your most effective way for engaging with our youth?
So with the youth, I think a big success with Requity engaging the youth has been the earn while you learn
Okay.
module. So
Okay.
all of our students are compensated, but
Hmm.
we also do grade checks, progress reports. You have to bring that in, to make sure you're up on your game. Because if you can't do school, you can't afford to work. If you
Mm.
can't afford to work, you can't afford to make money. So we had students that came to us and were failing, but once they knew, like, look, you have to pass your classes, we got honor roll students, students that were missing days, attendance, everybody that's in our program that's a senior is graduating on time. Their last day of school is May the 15th.
Okay.
We secure pathways. We show them it's a different way. Let's do things different. Let's take them out of the typical environment. Let's go on field trips. Let's do, to show them it's a lot more than what you see advertised on TV or what you see some of your friends that might be slipping up doing.
Mm. I love that. So this is really an out of the box type thinking and movement of program because every child doesn't learn the same either, right?
No,
And
no,
especially when you're coming from an underserved community, a lot of times the challenge looks different. It's not that they're not smart or they're slow. It's just
right.
meek. Sometimes you have to be creative in how you meet them
Yes.
to get the most out of them. So when we
Mhm.
talk about that then too, EJ, like how do you prioritize? Because then I think just in my mind, you have the strategy, but then how do you prioritize, then in those programs, the most pressing needs of, the children from the community
Right.
that you serve, so that you're really getting the most from them. You want them to give their input, basically, right?
Right.
To be the
That's
best. So,
right.
like, how do you do that? How do you identify that in the programs?
So the way Requity started, our executive director became the baseball coach at Carver High School back in
Mm.
2012.
Okay.
Carver does not have a field. This was the first time some of the students were touching baseball equipment, and they didn't have transportation. So he sacrificed his coaching salary in order for them to be able to source a van.
Wow.
Um, they wound up winning Division 1 championship, and the baseball captain told him, Mike, this is great. We figured out baseball, but I'm an honor student in carpentry and I'm not getting a job because they said I don't have experience. Yet
Wow.
I get off the bus and 9 out of the 22 homes on this block are vacant. Why can't we use what we're learning in the classroom and fix up our community? So from that idea of a student,
Mm.
Requity Foundation came into existence, with the mission of breaking down barriers between the vocational education and the workforce development.
I
It was a
love that.
study done in 2019 from Fund for Educational Excellence that
Mhm.
stated 6 years out after graduation, students were only earning $13,000 a year, and it wasn't in their vocational trades. Carver
Wow.
is one of the oldest. This year makes 100 years that Carver has been into existence. We knew that
Wow.
that was a priority. So we launched in 2020 during the pandemic, and with the permits and things, there was a lot of delays once we acquired the property, but we realized there was other needs in the community. District 7, the food access here in Baltimore is very, very low. So
Mm.
we engaged the culinary students that are in the vocational trades. We were able to come up with a meal program called We All Eat Wednesdays. And every Wednesday, the students shop, prepare, and deliver these meals to the residents in the community, free
Wow.
of charge, just doing what's right. So I
Mm.
think it's more so the students expressing their needs, they're being heard, they're at the tables able to make decisions, and they feel valued. It's needed.
I love that. I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, this is something that I can see, if the right people, really get behind this, this is like you said, I mean, if not even to say globally, but right now, let's just say nationally here in this country, there's so many underserved communities, and
Yes.
they're black, white, brown, and they're
Mhm.
all varying shades that could
Yes.
really benefit from a service.
Absolutely.
Like, there's so many rundown communities, so many underserved communities. I mean,
Mhm.
my goodness, it's scary
Yes.
right now what's going on in our country. But ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a short pause for the cause. We want to thank our sponsors for allowing us to be here with EJ and really talking about the work that she and Requity Foundation are doing. So don't go anywhere. We're going to come back and talk about some more, with EJ
That's
about
right.
Requity. So we'll see you on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere.
94 Media House specializes in transformative digital design that elevates your brand to new heights. Whether you need stunning graphic design, impactful branding, or a captivating web presence, our team is here to bring your vision to life. Join the ranks of successful businesses that trust 94 Media House for their digital design needs. Let's make your brand unforgettable. Contact us today.
Experience unforgettable memories with Riddick Entertainment and Events, the premier event planners in Northern Virginia. We specialize in crafting extraordinary weddings and events tailored to your vision. Led by the husband and wife team of Saeed and Michelle Riddick, we ensure your special day is stress-free and memorable. Don't leave your memories to chance. Let Riddick Entertainment help you create lasting moments. Contact us today to start planning your unforgettable event.
Unleash flavor with Tico Rico hot sauce, made from fresh, homegrown peppers for a vibrant taste. Enjoy the perfect blend of heat and zest with our habanero and refreshing serrano lime sauces. Ideal for tacos, seafood, or salads, Tico Rico enhances any dish. Join the Tico Rico family today and elevate your meals with our award-winning sauces. Visit us online to grab your starter kit and discover the magic of Tico Rico.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back fresh out the break, and we are here with EJ from Requity Foundation. Now, if you got to this point, I don't know how, but you need to go back to the beginning so you can catch all the amazing conversation that we've had in the first half. But right now, we're going to transition, EJ, and you know, with the work that you've done and the incredible things that are happening with Requity from its inception, like you shared one example of how it started, but is there another example that you can share recently where there was, this success in the community through an initiative or partnership? Please, I see you. Yeah, please go ahead. Take a moment to talk
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah, so I do organize community cleanups, back to school drives, Thanksgiving giveaway. But this past April the 4th, I hosted the first one for the year for the community cleanup, and we had partners from Amtrak, the Electrical Union Brothers, like so many people, over 50 people showed up. Chick-fil-A, they partnered and were able to give us food for all of the participants. We cleaned about 6 blocks. It just students that needed service learning hours signed up and participated. Like it was just a
Wow.
day in the community. We cut grass. We fixed it because we got the address signs on the 2 blocks. We fixed address signs. I was able to fill the flower pots with the seedlings and everything. So
Wow.
like just seeing a large group of people get together and be able to do this for a community that they don't even live in, but they
Wow.
know
Look
that
at
it's an
that.
underserved community. It was beautiful. It
I
was
mean,
beautiful.
just listening to it, I'm not gonna lie, it fills my heart with joy to know
Yes.
that we still have uh
Hmm.
this community engagement, and I grew up on that. There wasn't anyone on the block that you didn't know. There wasn't anyone on the surrounding blocks that didn't know. I mean, in my town, if I was up on the road doing something I had no business, heck, Mr. Johnson, or we used to have foot patrol, man,
Right.
he would snatch me up,
Uh-huh.
hem me up, go ahead and take care of business, call my
Yep.
parents. My parents
And
would
then
come,
they
you know
took
what I'm saying?
over.
Yeah, 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 so it's good to
Right.
hear though, these grassroots type
Hmm.
activities are happening again. Now,
Mhm.
with all of this success, you know, I want to be real and talk about the challenges
Okay.
because, you know, in your role,
Mhm.
what are some of the biggest challenges that you continuously face, and how do you overcome maybe whatever your, if you want to talk, maybe what you feel is your biggest obstacle? Um, because I know resources are probably limited, which we talked about.
Yes.
You know, then there's the outreach part, and then really sustaining, you know,
Mhm.
all of this over time. So,
Mhm.
like, talk about we got to talk about the dark side with the good, just so people really understand and get a full picture of what it looks like
Mhm.
from your lens and through Requity.
Yeah, I would say one of the biggest obstacles is funding, fundraising. We have this year started doing revenue generating services. So it might be an organization where we're doing masonry work for,
Mm.
or the
Hmm.
students are doing print and press t-shirts. We just got an opportunity for a second house to rebuild. So what we're thinking, instead of selling this one, it could possibly be a rental, so that way it's
Mm.
still streams of funding that can help us sustain.
Got it.
Um, yeah, trying to gather a community, regardless if they're working or, just to have a meeting to find out what the needs are is a struggle. But what I've come up with lately is making it in person and virtual, because even if they have to call in, even if they on mute, you can hear what some of the
Right.
topics are and give your feedback. We are
Right.
open door policy, so like any day Monday through Friday between 9 and 5:30, the door is open.
Mm.
So, I think finding resources for the community is a thing as well. Like, a lot of people get shut down easily
Yeah.
or discouraged by the application processes. So currently, I'm in partnership with Department of Human Services to
Okay.
get myself acclimated, whereas though I could be an authorized representative to help with the tedious paperwork and things to provide that assistance to the community.
I love that. I mean, that true, that alone is probably a huge hurdle for
Hmm.
those in underserved communities. I mean, you're dealing probably with so many different things. You know, I hate to say, you know, there's the reading part, the comprehension part,
Hmm.
and it's probably multiple layers
Oh yeah.
of paperwork for someone, even I guess if you would, to be approved,
Right.
to be a part of it, and
Hmm.
that's just to get approved and get in the door before anything else. So it's great
Right.
that you have the foresight uh,
Hmm.
to really try to get involved with the system, and I talk about that a lot here on the show. You know, a lot of people don't understand the system is the system for a reason, and it's
Hmm.
easier for you to be run over by the wheel than you becoming a part of the wheel and understanding the functions of the wheel. And that's how you
Absolutely.
change the spokes. That's how you change the outcome. And we
Right.
have to get in that mindset. Stop
Hmm.
running outside.
Hmm.
Get on it.
That's
Get
right.
inside that spoke. You know,
And see,
the
I've been
power.
on both sides. I've been on both sides of the track. So I
Right.
think through lived experiences, I'm able to understand, when that cutoff notice
Right.
come through, or
Right.
we're short on groceries and things like
Right.
that. So
Right.
yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. So when you get cut off enough, you realize. And I'm just talking the
Mhm,
same thing, talking from experience. You know, a lot
mhm,
of things people see that just because you see certain things you think is a certain way. Now
right,
look, like I'm from New
mhm,
York. I I I know when it's bad. And it
right,
seemed bad. And trust me, you learn to
mhm,
realize, okay, well, how do I make this better for myself?
that's right.
Take advantage of these opportunities. But
Mhm,
enough of talking about that. I do want to ask you, we're coming to the backside of an amazing, you know, conversation. And EJ, before we go, uh, I want to allow you, you know, take a moment. Are there anything that I did not ask that you want to talk about before we go? And please, you know, leave your website information. We'll make sure we drop that in the notes. Any social media, we'll drop that in the notes because we want our audience to really get behind, you know, you and the work that Requity is doing is really amazing and should be commended and supported, you know, because we really need stuff like this in our community today.
thank you. Um, I just want to say, I appreciate this opportunity to even speak on what Requity does. Our main goal through it all is to find pathways for our students. So once they are graduates of high school, they're able to jump right into the workforce. We make sure
Mm,
that they go through driving school, get their license, industry recognized certifications. They just
wow.
need an opportunity.
Mm,
So we have partnered with some organizations that's told some of our students, once you get off that stage, give me a call, you got a job. So
mm,
if you are an employer and are looking for young talent, determined talent that's ready and able and capable of working, please reach out. My email is Elisha, Elisha, at requity.org. Our social media, Instagram is Requity20, Facebook, Requity Foundation, and LinkedIn, Requity Foundation. And we're
mm.
located right across from Carver High School. We do not only focus on Carver High School. A lot of people assume that because of the proximity, but we have students from Reginald Lewis. Our first female construction intern comes from Forest Park.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, so it's the goal is to break the barriers. So don't think it's a gender specific role. If you feel as though you're capable, able, and willing, we're looking to employ these young talents so that they can earn a livable wage upon graduation.
I could not have ended today's conversation any better than that, ladies and gentlemen. Please, if you are in the Maryland area, anywhere in this DMV, anywhere if you know anybody living in this area, and I don't care where you watching this from or listening this from, reach out to your friends and your family in the area. And if you know of a young person that is in this situation that can use some vocational help, that has a talent, that can really use that extra level of push and help and assistance to earn a livable wage, you have a person, you have a source with EJ and Requity Foundation. So please, people, make sure you use it. And EJ, thank you again for taking time
Thank
out and
you.
sitting here.
Thank you. This has been great.
It's been amazing. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another amazing conversation here on Two Mics Up. And we are continuing to roll on season 8 of Two Mics Up on my all new Infusion TV channel. We are coming up on our next 6 months when we bring in some brand new shows. Glow Up Girl podcast with Kira. Man, I can't wait. We got, Crystal Clark coming back with Moving with Meaning. Two Mics Up Business Corner. We have some brand new shows that I can't just talk about yet because we ain't put the ink to the paper. But look, we coming back with 6 brand new shows this season, ladies and gentlemen, on the number one network for positive programming, the Mogul TV Global Network. So make sure you go download that app today while it's still free on your Amazon or Roku TV device and check out all the Infusion TV and everything that's going on with the Mogul TV network family. We blowing up. We in 47 countries now, over 100 million viewable subscribers. So make sure you get on board and you check out what's going on because the train has left the station. And I'm your humble host, Damon Cunningham. Season 8, like I said, Two Mics Up. You can follow us on social media, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and online at www.2micsup. 4-time award-winning talk show with the realest talk and the dopest guests, just like EJ. We're sitting here bringing the fire for you today. And like we do at the end of each and every show, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with a couple of things. May you all stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.
Nice.
Double O 007.